happening in our state as well, in Ram Navami, in, as pointed out by ma'am, that very soon the Shravani Mela shall be happening, and it shall always be a challenge for us to cater the public, because given this is the era of social media and everyone is interested in being more into the spotlight, like this is spotlight as well. So in that case, we need to understand the new dimensions that have evolved. And also, there are 108 pillars in that corridor, the riverfront, the Shipra riverfront, which is being made, and those actually depict the Anand Mudra of the Tandav of Shiva. The Anand Tandav of Shiva is basically nothing but the controlled use of power, much in the same way, I would say, the traces of which we will be witnessing in police each and every day. Controlling the personnel and commanding the control over the things will be something, that's all. And I think there is nothing more left, as my learned counterparts have already summed up. So with all that, I would say the study tour was one of the most learning experiences. Some nice food and nice backgrounds and nice foregrounds and songs and dances in the bus. I think we all really enjoyed it. And ladies and gentlemen, at this point of time, I would say for the coming batches who would be coming in the subsequent training modules and programs, I would say the duration of this study tour could be increased, because this is something जिसमें fall in नहीं होना पड़ता है. So that definitely is a joy, and I can see Om Prakash sir smiling in the background. So thank you from my side, ladies and gentlemen. It's always an honor to be in front of you, and I shall be remembering this from the core of my heart, to be in front of you, to be with you, and to enjoy this moment with you. Jai Hind, everyone.
बॉस के आने का टाइम क्या है? हाँ, 10:30. ओके. एक और ग्रुप बचा हुआ है. इससे पहले वो सर आ जाएं, तो मेरे दिमाग में कुछ बातें आई थी, मैं शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. स्टडी टूर में जैसे हम सर्विस राइटिंग में लिखते हैं ना, विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट दिस एंड दैट एंड फॉर्मिंग ये वो, तो उसमें जो रिस्पेक्ट है ना, हमेशा ड्यू ही दिखती है मुझे. बहुत ज़्यादा लगता नहीं है वो कि है एक्चुअली फील किया जा रहा है. स्टडी टूर में भी ना स्टडी जैसा बहुत कम होता है, टूर बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. तो इसलिए ट्रैवल टाइम उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा है आपका. वहाँ पे जो ब्रीफ कर रहे हैं ऑफिसर, उसके ऊपर हमें भरोसा नहीं होता, क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं कि वो किस तरह से अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करके आए हैं और क्या बताएंगे. जैसे मनोहर सर ने बहुत तैयारी की थी आपको सिखाने के लिए, वहीं धौलपुर के एसपी साहब ने, मुझे लगा नहीं कि उन्होंने शायद कोई पन्ना भी पढ़ा होगा हमारी तरफ से जब गया था कि कोई आने वाला है. तो वो हमें कुछ बताने की जगह हमसे ही सीख रहे थे. तो जिस इंस्टीट्यूशन में हम जाते हैं विज़िट करने, वहाँ के ऑफिसर कितने सिंसियर हैं और कितने कमिटेड हैं वो नॉलेज इम्पार्ट करने के लिए, उस पर हमारा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं होता. बट द थिंग इज़ कि हम जब किसी एक जगह को विज़िट करते हैं तो वी लर्न बाय ऑब्जर्विंग दैट प्लेस. और साइकोलॉजी में भी है कि 80% जो लर्निंग है आपकी, वो आपके ऑब्जर्वेशन से आती है. तो आप खुद देखते हैं जब चीज़ों को, उसके मीनिंग्स इंटरप्रिटेशन आप अपने हिसाब से करते हैं और अपनी लर्निंग्स खुद ही बनाते हैं कि इसमें मुझे क्या चीज़ लगी सीखने वाली. और फ़िलॉसफी जो शब्द है, उसका हिंदी में जो ट्रांसलेशन है, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड दर्शन, दर्शन शास्त्र. तो फिलॉसफी का मतलब 2 शब्द से मिलकर बना हुआ है. क्या क्या है वो शब्द? हाँ, इसका मतलब फिल क्या होगा, सॉफी क्या होगा? सॉफी यानी लव, और फिल ज्ञान. हाँ, विजडम, ज्ञान से जिसको प्यार है, या ज्ञान का जो प्यार है वो फिलॉसफी है. हमारे यहाँ वो ज्ञान का प्यार का नाम क्या है? दर्शन शास्त्र. तो हमें ये बहुत पहले से पता है कि जो भी ज्ञान प्राप्त होगा है वो दर्शन से ही प्राप्त होगा. तो अगर आप कोई जगह विज़िट कर रहे हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ ज्ञान अपने आप आ गया होगा. टीएसयू के विज़िट के बारे में डेमोस्ट्रेशन वाज इंक्लूडेड देयर, पर उस दिन थोड़ा सा मौसम अच्छा नहीं था और हवाएं तेज़ थी, तो जो स्मोक था वो जो पीछे गांव है वहाँ तक चला जाता है. तो वो डेमोस्ट्रेशन तभी करते हैं जब वेदर शांत हो, नॉर्मल हो. तो एक तो पानी का खतरा था कि बारिश हो सकती है, तो आप 70 लोग वहाँ से किस तरह से भागेंगे, ग्राउंड से कैसे बचेंगे, वो दिमाग में था उनके. और दूसरा जो हवाएं थोड़ी सी तेज़ थी, तो उसको भी उन्होंने कंसीडर किया था, इसलिए डेमोस्ट्रेशन वॉज नॉट देयर. बाकी जो पिछले बैचेस थे उनमें डेमोस्ट्रेशन होता है, दैट इज़ पार्ट एंड इट इज़ इंक्लूडेड देयर. जो लेक्चर था वो जो थोड़ा बहुत लंबा चला गया, वो बस टाइम उन्होंने बता दिया, उसको शूट आउट कर दिया। वो भी इतना लंबा नहीं था, दैट वाज ओनली 30 मिनट, और वो भावनाओं में बह के उन्होंने उसको 1.5 घंटा कर दिया। तो हमारा CSMT का जो विज़िट था वो फिर टच एंड गो वाला रह गया कि आगे का टाइम नहीं मिलता। वहाँ 11 बजे हमें वहाँ पहुँचना ही था, बिकॉज जॉइंट डायरेक्टर वॉज वेटिंग। तो ये कई सारे इश्यूज़ होते हैं हमारा, कुछ चीज़ों पे स्टडी टूर पे ना कंट्रोल नहीं रह पाता है, पर आप अपने से जो सीख पाते हैं वही टेक अवे है आपका, जो आप देख पाते हैं, चाहे वो आनंद तांडव हो, चाहे गाड़ी के पीछे लिखा हुआ MP पुलिस हो, चाहे किला कैसल ग्वालियर हो जैसा सनी ने बताया। सबको देखते रहिए ध्यान से, कुछ ना कुछ आ ही जाएगा। आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट ग्रुप नंबर 4 टू शेयर देयर एक्सपीरियंसेस प्लीज़।
जय हिंद सर, गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। जैसे हमारे सब बैचमेट्स ने ऑलरेडी बता दिया है, जो ट्रेनिंग का फर्स्ट पार्ट था मतलब स्टडी टूर का, BSF एकेडमी टेकनपुर, उसके बारे में मैं थोड़ा बताना चाहूँगा। जो फॉर्मली जो चीज़ हमने वहाँ पर सीखी है वो सब ने ऑलरेडी बता दी है। जैसे कि नेशनल ट्रेनिंग सेंटर फॉर डॉग्स था, फिर डॉग स्क्वाड का जो डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन था, उसके अलावा CSMT का जो विज़िट था, उसके बाद डायरेक्टर सर ने हमें एड्रेस किया था, और इनफॉर्मल इंटरेक्शन विथ AC ट्रेनीज़। तो ये सब फॉर्मल बात हो गई। अब एंड में मैं थोड़ा इनफॉर्मल बात बताना चाहूँगा कि ये 2 दिन में हमने क्या सीखा। ये 2 दिन में सबसे पहले तो हमने टाइम मैनेजमेंट सीखा कि दूसरे दिन सुबह अगर निकलना हो और बस हमारी फंस जाती है तो टाइम कैसे मैनेज करते हैं। उसके अलावा ये स्टडी टूर के बारे में मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि 4 दिन का जो ये स्टडी टूर था उसमें मतलब हमने जो 20 से 21 दिन में जितनी क्लोजनेस नहीं आई उतनी ये 4 दिन में क्लोजनेस आई थी। तो मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा कि हो सकता है तो ये स्टडी टूर को ज़्यादा इंक्रीज़ किया जाए, और उसका सर एक्सपोजर बहुत तो हमें स्टेट एकेडमीज़ में कम मिलता है। वैसे इंडोर आउटडोर एक्टिविटीज़ तो चलती रहती है, तो जो CAPT की स्पेशलिटी है वो इस बारे में ज़्यादा मतलब है कि, और सुरेंद्र सर का जो कंपनी था वो सबसे बढ़िया था, वो ऑलमोस्ट कंसेंसस बेस्ड पे है। तो ये चीज़ मैं बताना चाहूँगा। उसके अलावा सर सब कुछ बता दिया गया, बाकी का सब मेरे बैचमेट्स आगे कंटिन्यू करेंगे। थैंक यू।
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind, everyone. So actually most of the things are being talked about by my colleagues. So I think I should implant some other perspective on this. The purpose of having study tour must have some correlation with the previous studies that we have undergone through 3 weeks. So when I visited TSU unit, I could see that the TSU unit was having implication only when there was the failure of communication channel. So once the communication channel fails, then we apply TSU. So there must be some correlation between first 3 week and the last study tour week. So what I can correlate is like when I visited Chambal Valley, then I could see that when we are studying the footprint and how to collect footprint, what data we can extract from footprint, those things I can actually visualize there when I was seeing the footprint on the sand. Second thing, if there was a lot of murder in those areas while performing dakati. So when we attended the class of postmortem or antemortem, then I can correlate that how those death can happen, what is the timing of death, what is the mode of death, what weapons is being used. So those things which I studied in previous week, I could correlate and I could imagine that, oh, these things will be very highly useful in such scenario. Second thing, when we visited TSU unit, then I could see that they were demonstrating a lot of weapons like multi-barrel launcher, single barrel launcher, grenade launcher, and cannon launcher. So these things can be used only when the communication channel is failed, because the public has a constitutional right to protest. And apart from that constitutional right, there are NHRC, there is social media, there is media, and these things are acting as deterrent while we perform any force, when we apply any force on the public, when they were peacefully protesting, or even if they are violent, their violence will not be highlighted as much as our violence will be highlighted. So in such scenario, the less lethal weapon like tear smoke can be used. So there was one modification according to their briefing, that they started using some sort of ink in tear smoke itself. So those inks can be traced back, and by using those inks marks, we can identify who are the one, those involved in such riots or such groupings. So again, the application of forensic science can be seen in those tear smoke units. So the study of first week, that soft skill. So before any use of force, first we should resort to meet and greet strategy. That is, we go reach out to people, identify their leader, bring them and negotiate with them. And if we are not able to negotiate, then identify the person which are less very marginalized, bring them, give them some respect, and extract the information which are relevant for our further strategy. So these soft skill which we undergone in first week, like attitude, integrity, honesty, and other things, those are very useful when I was in tear smoke unit, because tear smoke unit can be applied only when once the communication channel fails, or when the crowd become such violent that we could not negotiate at all. Second thing, there was one more method like cattle strategy. So when we pour tea from a kettle, we used to have a single barrel like structure. So through that, we can actually control the flow of that teapot. So similarly, we can see while the brief was going on Ujjain, sir has told that they used to channelize the crowd. So that by channelizing, what they were doing is that they were controlling the crowd in a restricted strength, like they were confining them to a single line, and that single line can be very easily tackled. So those things which we studied during our study tour are actually the real life example of what we undergone through the first 3 weeks. And these things already, as NPC, National Police Commission of 1977 to 81, and Padmanabhaiya Committee, those has already recommended that police should resort to less lethal weapon like tear smoke and other things. And apart from that, they should have some mechanism to identify the rioters. So these everything are being elaborated there. So with this, I want to end my and hand over to next one. Thank you. Thanks.
Jai Hind everyone. My name is Rupak Kumar Singh. I am from Jharkhand Police Service, and I am here to speak about our experience at CIT school Shivpuri. So the day we arrived at Shivpuri, we were briefed about the honorable commandants over there about the history of CRPF, the functioning and importance of CIT, and how critical CIT is to counter insurgency operations in our country. And thereafter we saw the IED demonstration presented by a very well-trained team. We saw how a very small, rather I would say a tiny amount of explosive can create how much destruction. And that's all we saw at Shivpuri. And I'll say that One more thing I'd like to add that the kind of exposure here we got at CIT, all the state academies should learn from it, that how a training program should be conducted in a holistic and professional manner. And I'm sure most of my colleagues will agree to my statement. And at the last, I'll express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Director, Sir CAPT, all the officials and support staff of CAPT. Thank you, sir.
Jain sir, Jain everyone. I'm Sumita Devnath from Tripura Police Service. I would talk about the Ujjain tour. All of us are made up of 5 basic aspects: mental, physical, psychological, emotional, and spiritual. Despite being physically exhausted due to the long travel, our trip to Ujjain was a treat to our spiritual selves, and we all felt nothing but rejuvenated. And we're deeply grateful to SP Ujjain, Sachin Sharma sir, for arranging the entire trip so well and making our visit to the Mahakaleshwar temple a very seamless one. And many devotees were there, and many of them cannot even get to see the Jyotirlingam, but it was very easy for us to go and visit the Jyotirlingam. We're very grateful for that. And after that, we had a very nice lunch session at the police control room, Ujjain, and we had a very insightful interactive session with DIG sir, Manohar Singh Verma sir. He was actively involved in the planning of the 2016 Simhast at Ujjain, and the slides that he showed, the experience that he shared with us would help us greatly, since we are still probationers and we have no first-hand experience of any crowd control or mega event management. His insights and his experiences are going to help us in the future. And although I'm from Tripura, and in Tripura we do not have any such mega event at a scale as large as Ujjain, but we do have the Tripureshwari temple at Tripura, which is becoming more and more popular by the day. And during Diwali, there are footfalls in millions. So I'm sure that when we get a chance, these experiences will help us greatly. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to Tripureshwari temple, especially during Diwali, because it is a very beautiful event and you all must come there. And I'd like to conclude my speech by thanking CAPT, by thanking Surendra Singh sir, because sir, you have been a very wonderful guide to us, and you kept us entertained with your humors here and there at various points, and we felt nothing but safe and secure with you. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you, CAPT. Thank you so much.
खड़े हो जाओ प्लीज रविकांत चौक नाडो अब्दुल समा एंड गुलाब नाउ 43 आउट ऑफ 50 प्रशांत कुमार
नाम 1 2 3 कौन से
ओके तुम आइए Now 43 to welcome Shri Rajiv Vashne, IRS, Principal Commissioner Income Tax, by presenting a book. Thank you, sir. Now our request to welcome Shri Ramnesh Gir, Joint Director, Central Bureau of Investigation. Thank you, sir. Now I would request Shri Pawan Srivastav, IPS Director, Central Academy for Police Training, for his welcome address.
Chief guest of today's program, Principal Chief Commissioner Income Tax, Vashne sir, Joint Director CBI Ramnesh, my colleagues on the dais Anuj and Mulchan, and dear friends. How is the Josh? Wonderful, wonderful. So, to start with, you must be a little surprised. Why do we have two distinguished officers here as guests on the valedictory function? Usually it is only one. So why do we have two? So you must understand that all three of us have gray hairs, which means that about me you know, but about them you must learn that they are extremely experienced officers. So one is from income tax, one is from CBI. I had invited one officer from the enforcement directorate also, but unfortunately because of his exigencies he couldn't come. But what they are going to tell you is something which is very, very important. The contribution of the income tax department in the nation building. Why income tax? For me, there are two government departments which have leveraged technology to change the face of their interaction with common people. One of them is railways. Why? Because when you were kids, or maybe when you were born, your parents would stand in front of a line, in front of a railway station window to get his train reservation confirmed from place X to Y. And that reservation he would do by his own hand. I mean, he would give in a slip, and the reservation would be made by the clerk there by his own hands in big registers. They rarely failed. But then in the late 80s, early 90s, you would see that there were kiosks that were opened and you would get a printed computer railway ticket. And next, you have the reservations available on your mobile phones, on your computers, etc., etc. So their interaction with their own people, insofar as the reservations was concerned, insofar as timetables were concerned, that changed it was a sea change insofar as the interaction was concerned. Similarly, income tax. All of you are income tax payee. So you file a return. If there is a discrepancy, you come to know immediately, because the CPC would communicate to you that there is a discrepancy in your return. If you have filed your return, and if you have also made, I mean your employer has made TDS, or TDS थोड़ा सा भी ज़्यादा हो जाता है, within a week's time after filing of your return, that TDS is reflected back in your bank accounts. So they have also, it started sometimes in 90s, and the by by the first decade of uh, this century, they had already fructified, they have already uh, made systems which were very, very easy. I remember I was in 2001, 2002 in Kosovo, in United Nations Peace Mission. And we had to take a CTO, which is compulsory time off, because we used to work for 7 days a week. So we had to compulsorily take time off. So to take that CTO, there was an Excel sheet, which was a logged Excel sheet, and there was few fields that were available for us to fill in. तो हम लोग उसके अंदर कुछ भी लिखते थे कि मैं कब आया और कितने दिन का चाहिए. It would calculate on its own how many CTOs are available to me, and we'll take a printout, sign it, and give it to the supervisor. When I came back to India, and I thought about implementation of this thing in few of our works, and I had to file my return because I had earned a lot of money there in Kosovo, sir. I was being paid in dollars, so I realized that the income tax department had created a PDF file, PDF that you had to fill in, and that PDF there were few fields available in it, and when you fill it, it would make the calculations automatically. So I learned from them that how easy it is from a PDF file to extract data. So when I started the ATS here in Madhya Pradesh, I would get my field reports in PDF format. It would be mailed to me, and it would be very easily assimilated by the computer, and I would get a kind of an Excel sheet with the information which was relevant to me. This is again income tax department which has brought a sea change in their communication, their services to the people of this country. So we are going to learn a lot from them. We have been interacting for the past many weeks, and we have learned a lot from you. You have learned certain things from us also. The only thing that I can tell you right now, because you would be joining, you would be starting your careers from now, the only thing that I can tell you at this point is that you have joined as Deputy Superintendents of Police. If you continue in the service, the first aspiration that you have is to become an IPS officer. है नहीं है? The first is to become an IPS officer. That will come to you in about 7 years, maybe 20 years of service that you have put in. But that is not an easy task. That is a very, very difficult one. मेरे एक भैया थे, झारखंड में ही पोस्टिंग थी, joined as a डिप्टी कलेक्टर एंड रिटायर्ड एज अ प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी. वो ये बोलते थे कि हम लोगों को, बिकॉज ही वॉज फ्रॉम द स्टेट सर्विसेज, कि हम लोगों को अपनी नौकरी बचाना बड़ा मुश्किल काम होता है. सो एज बिकॉज यू आर अ डिप्टी एसपी एंड यू एस्पायर टू बिकम एन IPS officer, so, and that time would come in 7 years to about 20 years of time. So you have between 7 to 20 years to bachao your service. What does that bachao your service mean? That means that you cannot afford to make any mistake. Can you? You cannot afford to make any mistake. So the only thing that I can tell you at this juncture is that when you go out and start working in the field, it is only the first 2 or 3 years of your service, of your career, that will make or mar your next 30-35 years in the department. First 3 years. The first 3 years में सोना भूल जाओ, खाना भूल जाओ, सब कुछ भूल करके सिर्फ और सिर्फ इस डिपार्टमेंट में जितना योगदान कर सकते हो उतना योगदान करो. I trust that in the academy you have learned that you cannot be harsh, you cannot be hasty in any decision that you take. इतना तो क्लियर कर दिया ना हम लोगों ने. So first thing that you learn is that if you are not harsh, if you are not hasty in your decision taking, nothing will fall onto you. Number two, that you have to, उस दिन परसों बात हो रही थी ना कि कौन कौन सोता है कौन कौन सो रहा है, ऐसी बात हो रही थी ना. So you have to forget your sleep, because it is the first 3 years that are going to make you. And if you falter, the reputation that you carry would not be so good. So it is quite very possible that you might get into the IPS, quite very possible, because people say that it is kind of a conveyor belt. But if you perform well, if you do well, the possibility of an easy induction becomes very, very positive. So I don't have anything else to tell you, but for the next 7, 15, 20, till that point that you become an IPS officer, you have to samhalo your service. And how can you samhalo your service? Never ever make any harsh or hasty decision. And you have to forget sleep for the first 3 years. कहीं भी जाना है, देखना है, डिस्कशन करना है, कुछ भी करना है. और एक आखिरी चीज़ मैं आप लोगों को ये बोलना चाहता हूँ. You recall the dinner we had hosted for you a couple of days back? We were sitting there, the ladies were sitting there, the lady wives of all the officers were sitting there. None of you took an opportunity to come and speak to them. I do not know why. It could be a natural hesitation on your part, but it was an opportunity that I had provided to you, wherein you could have come and you could speak to us, whatever you wanted, anything in this world, you could have come up and you could have spoken to us. But you did not take that opportunity. Neither did you take this opportunity to engage with the lady officers, lady wives of the officers there that were present there. So the point that I'm trying to tell you is that if you keep this hesitation, it will be very, very difficult to make any kind of communication to your senior officer. Any kind of communication. मतलब अगर हम informally बात नहीं कर सकते तो formally कितना बात कर पाएंगे? So this was an opportunity which you had lost, but it is an opportunity now that I speak to you about it, is to learn how to mend fences and to ensure that we keep on constant communication with our subordinates and our seniors. If you don't do that, तो आपके साथ ठप्पा क्या लगेगा? चुप्पा है, बताता नहीं है, बोलता नहीं है. Keep on communicating. I can go on speaking, but then I am also looking forward to both these officers to tell about their organizations. So with those words, I congratulate all of you on graduating from the academy, and I look forward to some brilliant police officers in the country, and I trust in 2047, on the century of our independence, some of you, I would love that all of you would be holding very high positions in the police departments in the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for guiding these young officers by giving them a guru mantra of effective communication. Now I would request Akash Bhardwaj, Deputy SP from Jharkhand, to share his experience and offer vote of thanks on the behalf of 3rd Specialized Training Program for newly recruited Deputy SPs. Please come. That way.
Jain sir. I would like to start with a famous saying by Margaret Atwood. She says, "In the end, we all shall become stories." This is what the West says. In our culture, we says, "Antah asti prarambh," which means conclusion begets beginning. Today, as the third specialized training course concludes, we all feel so honorable to be a part of this ceremony, sir. Monsoon 2023 has been magical. Being at the heart of India, at such a great seat of learning, all the officers here, in the true spirit, pay and express gratitude to this magnum institution. Day one of the CAPT Bhopal rolled on with hiking and breakfast in the jungle, doing the ice breaking too. Developing bonds with our brothers and sisters from Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand, we flagged off the week, imparting soft skill and the art of living and inculcating the four E's of ethics, ethos, equity, and efficiency. In the new age policing, the week concluded with a great movie and public speaking platforms. Most important part of the training was week 2, the cyber forensic and investigation. As the CAPT motto says, Siddhi Bhavati Karmaja, the best of expertise was inculcated, making us all well versed with the various dimensions of information technology and the emerging cyber physical system. As the monsoon came nearby, the training got intensified. The second week concluded with a 5-kilometer run where I missed the first position by a merely gap of 8 seconds. And when I asked the Mulchan sir, "Sir, आपने सिर्फ फर्स्ट पोजीशन वाले लड़के का नाम लिया?" Then he says with a smile, "दुनिया सेकंड पोजीशन वालों को याद नहीं रखती." So give your best next time. Next, there's a thing we all like about you, sir. I have never seen such a disciplined and dedicated leader like you, sir. Thank you so much. Coming to the third week, being dedicated to the forensic science investigation, we came to learn that dead men do tell tales, and every contact leaves a trace. In the last week, we group of 77 DySP set out on a journey. The sun was shining high in CAPT Bhopal as the first time. Same it was on the 4th of June 2023, the day we set our footsteps for the first time in the academy. High on spirits, our bus moved to Kamlapati station, and from there in train to Gwalior. There we get the first-hand experience to BSF Training Academy Tekanpur. The very next day, we young cops entered into the valley of dacoits, that is Chambal Ravines, whose dakus has been romanticized in the movies like Sole, Bandit Queen, Pan Singh Tomar, and Son Chiraiya. It was followed by our visit to Gwalior Fort and CIT Sripuri. Our week-long study tour got concluded in the ancient city of Avanti and the land of Mahakal, where the words of Adi Guru Shankaracharya echoed in my ears. ना मैं पृथ्वी हूँ, ना जल हूँ, ना वायु हूँ, ना आकाश, ना इंद्रियाँ हूँ, ना उनके गुण हूँ, अपितु उन सबसे परे जो परम तत्व है वही मैं हूँ. To conclude, I would like to thank Sarma sir and ever smiling Surendra sir and Ustad Desraj sir, Nisikant Singh, Divakar Kumar and Manak Ram sir for being our guide in the study tour. The academy administration didn't only teach, rather demonstrate the spirit of teamwork by addressing to our issues and streamlining the processes of learning. Starting the days with PT and concluding with sports always gave more spotlight to individual fitness and spirit the corps. We express our gratitude to the respected director sir for making us hands-on with the best of the experts, resources and all the facilities beyond imagination. Bonds that we develop here would be our investment for all India Khaki fraternity. At last, one India, one police. These are the words my mind echoes when I find myself here with all my course mates. Thank you so much, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you so much. Now, before inviting Shri Ramnesh Gate, Joint Director, Central Bureau of Investigation, a brief introduction about him. Shri Ramnesh Gir has done BSc Engineering from Regional Engineering College, Kurukshetra, and joined Central Bureau of Investigation as Deputy SP in the year 1994. Since then, he has been appointed on various key assignments like Anti-Corruption Branch, New Delhi and Gandhinagar, Special Investigation Unit, Cybercrime Investigation Cell, Special Crime Branch, Mumbai. He is a proud recipient of CBI Gold Medal for Best Investigating Officer in the year 2006. He has also been awarded with UN Peacekeeping Medal 2009, Police Medal for Meritorious Service in the year 2014, and President Police Medal for Distinguished Services in the year 2022. He has also visited some of the foreign countries in terms of investigation, in which the prominent are United Arab Emirates in investigating a kidnapping case in the year 2002, United States of America for assistance in execution of aluminum casket coffin scam case, London 4 times in the year 2011 for assisting prosecutors in extradition proceedings of an accused in naval war room leak case. Sir is involved in many high-profile investigations, and some of the important cases are associated with housing scam of 1996, wherein one union minister and minister of state in union cabinet were accused. Participated in large number of trap cases, including ministers of state government, various officers of joint secretary and above level. Naval war room leak case against former chief minister of Jharkhand and his ministers, case against the then union health minister, defense related cases like barrack missiles, Daniel ammunition case, Tata trucks case, NRI kidnapping case, and cases related to Commonwealth Games and engineering projects. Now, without wasting much of the time, I would request Sri Ramnesh Gir, Joint Director, Central Bureau of Investigation, to deliver his talk.
Respected Pawan sir, respected Varshney sir, and other officers on the stage, and my dear youngsters and other officers. I am very thankful to the Academy that they have given me an opportunity to be here and talk to you all. You are at the starting phase of your career. We are at the end of our career. And these are the 30 years journey which we have traveled to this place. मैं सर की एक बात से स्टार्ट करता हूँ, then we will come to talk about the CBI. सर ने कहा था कि जितना आप शुरू में मेहनत कर लोगे उतना आसान रहेगा. तो यही एक चीज़ थी. आज से 30 साल पहले हमारे एक एसपी ने बोला था. He was promoted as from the sub inspector. He says that कि रमनीश, यदि किसी लड़के को इतना काम दिया जाए फ्रेशर को कि रात को जब वो सोए तो उसकी आंखों से आंसू आने चाहिए. फ्रेशर को इतना काम देना चाहिए कि जैसे जब वो सोता है रात को उसकी आंखों से आंसू आना चाहिए. 1 साल के बाद वो लड़का इतना तैयार हो जाएगा तो अगली पूरी उम्र पूरी नौकरी में कभी उसकी आंख से एक आंसू नहीं आएगा. The more blood you sweat you shed in the field, in the training, less blood you shed in the borders. What is said in the paramilitary or in the army. तो वही चीज़ यहाँ पर भी है कि जितने आप ट्रेनिंग के अंदर से मेहनत कर लेंगे, इनिशियल अपने प्रोबेशन पीरियड के अंदर से मेहनत कर लेंगे, उतनी ज़िंदगी आसान हो जाएगी. आज मैं 7 स्टेट्स को सुपरवाइज करता हूँ. आई एम सुपरवाइजर ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, विदर्भा रीजन ऑफ महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटका, तेलंगाना एंड आंध्र प्रदेश. और मैं सुबह 10:30 बजे ऑफिस जाता हूँ, 6 बजे अपनी चेयर छोड़ देता हूँ. एंड आई डोंट कीप इवन अ सिंगल फाइल पेंडिंग. क्यों? आपको सीखा है, एक्सपीरियंस के साथ में सीखा है, काम किया है, काम को करते हुए उसको सीखा है. एंड यू पीपल विल बी गोइंग एज ए सुपरवाइजर्स. सिर्फ सबसे पहली एडवाइस ये कि आपकी डार्क पैड के अंदर से जो पेपर आता है ना, उसको उसी स्टेज पे पढ़ो. ये नहीं है कि उसके अंदर से आपके पीए ने, रीडर ने उसके ऊपर लिख दिया कि किसको मार्क करना, आप उसके ऊपर सिर्फ साइन करते चले गए. उसको पेपर का सब्जेक्ट जरूर पढ़िएगा और नीचे के 4-5 पैराग्राफ जरूर पढ़िएगा. आपको पता होना चाहिए मेरे पास किस चीज़ का कागज़ आया है. कोई भी उस सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड कोई भी चीज़ आएगी, देन यू कैन आस्क योर रीडर कि भैया एक कागज़ आया था, जरा वो कागज़ निकाल के लेके आना. दोबारा आप उस कागज़ को देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. बहुत चीज़ें सीख जाते हैं. दीज आर बेसिक 2-3 चीज़ें जो है कि एज ए एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर, एज ए सुपरवाइज़र जो आपको मालूम होनी चाहिए कि हाँ मुझे अच्छे सुपरविज़न के लिए कहाँ पर क्या करना है. और बिना मतलब की बातें करो, अपने जूनियर सबॉर्डिनेट से सुबह शाम जब भी मौका मिला बातें कर. जैसे सर ने कहा है, चुप करके मत बैठो, चुप करके मत बैठो, किसी ना किसी से कुछ ना कुछ बात करते रहो. और कोई भी डाउट हो तो अपने जूनियर से भी सीखो. एक कांस्टेबल, एक हेड कांस्टेबल आपको जो फील्ड में सिखाएगा ना, आपके डीआईजी आपको चीज़ नहीं सिखा सकते. क्यों सर? इस चीज़ का है ना सर. उसका जो फील्ड का एक्सपीरियंस है, जो कांस्टेबल बेचारा सारा दिन सिटी के अंदर घूम रहा है, जो हेड कांस्टेबल घूम रहा है, जिस तरह के लोगों से वो डील कर रहा है, उसका जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो हम लोगों का चेयर के ऊपर बैठ के, चैम्बर्स में बैठ के एक्सपीरियंस कभी नहीं आता। कोई भी डाउट हो किसी भी डिस्कशंस के अंदर से, कभी कोई जूनियर आपको कुछ बताया कि सर मैं कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ, जरूर सुनो उसकी। बहुत वैल्यूएबल इंफॉर्मेशन होती हैं, बहुत वैल्यूएबल चीज़ें वो बताते हैं। सो विद दैट you all will be in the states doing the day-to-day policing, law and order. अब law and order yes, as per the constitution it is a part of the state subject. तो basically power सभी सारे law and order management investigation that is a part of you people. आपकी primary responsibility है state के अंदर से. But sometimes now you see that another investigating agency which is there in the field, that is Central Bureau of Investigation. तो हम कहाँ से आ गए? जब इस स्टेट सब्जेक्ट था, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर इसके बारे में कहीं लिखा नहीं हुआ, कहीं पर कुछ मेंशन नहीं है, तो ये चीज़ लोग कहाँ से एग्जिस्टेंस में आ गए? द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट वेन एवर देयर आर द एक्सीजेंसीज, कोई भी एक्सीजेंसीज होती है तब उसके अंदर से आपको यदि कुछ भी परचेज करना होता है तो आप ये देखेंगे देयर इज अ स्पर्ट इन द प्राइसेस, हर चीज़ की प्राइसेस बढ़ जाते हैं। इवन आपके जो विंटर वेकेशंस आती है तो आपके एयर फेयर्स भी बढ़ जाते हैं। बरसात आती है तो आपके जैसे आपके टमाटर प्याज के भाव भी बढ़ जाते हैं। तो क्या है, ऐसे ही जैसे कि सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर या फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर हुआ था, सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर हुआ था, उस समय भी फोर्सेस वर रिक्वायर्ड टू बी रिप्लेनिश्ड विद द फूड, विद द सप्लाई, एम्यूनिशन सप्लाई, सभी चीज़ उनको चाहिए थी। एंड देन देयर कम द दे हैव टू बी परचेज्ड ऑन इमरजेंसी बेसिस। उसके लिए आप 6 महीने का टेंडर नहीं निकाल सकते हो, यू कैन नॉट वेट कि पूरा प्रोसेस नहीं कर सकते हो। तो इमरजेंसी परचेजेज होती थी, सब कुछ होता था। इन दैट देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ करप्शन। बिजनेसमैन को तो बिजनेस करना है, उसको मौका मिला कि हाँ भैया मेरी चीज़ बिक रही है और आदमी सामने वाले किसी भी कीमत पे खरीदने को तैयार है, तो उसको 10 गुना रेट पे बेचेगा, 5 गुना रेट पे बेचेगा। बिकॉज ऑफ दोज दैट टाइम द करप्शन विच erupted in this 1942, 41, 42 during the World War, then that British government at that time came up with this a very small unit called the Special Police Establishment, which was basically meant for looking into the war-related procurement crimes. It was having its headquarter at Lahore, with one DIG heading it, and they have got 2 units. One was at Ambala, another one was at Jabalpur. Thereafter, after independence, in 1948, the government of India came up with an act called the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. Still, it was a part of the Delhi Police Special Establishment Act. In that, it's a very small act. जिसके अंदर basically framework उन्होंने दिया कि how the CBI is going to operate, or this DSP is going to operate. Say they provided for the section that which are the sections or which are the different offences, which are the different criminal acts for which the CBI can, this DSP can investigate. Then there was a provision that in which area of the India this DSP can operate. Then there was a provision that how the CBI is going to operate in the, because we are basically a federal structure, how we can operate in a particular state with the consent of that state only. They can operate. So these were the 3 basic features of that thing. In sometime in 1963, within a government order, the DSP was given a formal name called the Central Bureau of Investigation. Still today, we are governed by the DSP Act only. There is no act. You can say that there is an Army Act, there is a Madhya Pradesh Police Act, or there is a Bombay Police Act, there is Punjab Police Act, there is a CRPF Act, there is a BSF Act. Every acts are there, but there is no act by the name of CBI Act. We still operate as a DSPE only. Basically, structure is there. So initially, we were looking only into the anti-corruption aspects. Because even because of that, our primary duties, primary nature, we are not a part of the MHA, we are the part of the Department of Personnel and Training in the Government of India. Because we are basically you can say the extended or form of the vigilances, any of the vigilance organization. But with the time being and with the increasing in the credibility of the CBI, some of the state governments and some of the courts, they started giving the CBI this cases related to the murders, cases related to the extortion, kidnapping. These are different types of cases they started giving for some specialized investigation, which because of certain reasons, there may be the political interference, there may be the involvement of the local police as it is. You can say that when there is a custody death is there. Everybody says that when there is a custody death, it is very difficult for the police to investigate their own officers. Those types of cases came. And later on, even during the Punjab terrorism, all the terrorist-related cases came to the CBI. So for the investigating all those things, CBI had started another chapter. Apart from this vigilance anti-corruption branches, we have got the special crime branches, where the IPC related offences being entrusted to us, they were being investigated. With the time, with the increase in the money in the hand of people, and then there were the economic offences were there. And economic offences not related to, you can say, the few lakhs, they're related to the crores of rupees. Look at the Ponzi schemes were there, mass investment schemes were there. So when there were the crimes which have got the interstate ramifications, when there were the crimes which affected large number of public in general. So for that, the CBI has to establish another wing, which was called the economic offences wing. It was dealing with all these types of crimes, even including the bank frauds. But after that 1992 scam, Harshad Mehta scam, if you might have read, there is a movie also on that, Scam 92. After that, then it was realized that the bank frauds cannot be that simple that you have just withdrawn the money or you have taken the loan and you have not repaid the loan. There's a lot in the background where the banking sector works. There can be manipulation in that particular sector also. For that, the CBI came again with the this thing, the Bank Securities and Fraud Cell, which was looking into the high profile, high-end bank fraud cases. Just like this Nirav Modi matter also of the Punjab National Bank. It was not simply he has taken the loan. He has not taken the loan. It was just that there are certain international transactions, uske andar uske manipulation tha sara. So these are basically main four things. And with the time in the sometime in 2001 ke andar se this Information Technology Act aaya tha, but we started with the cybercrime unit in the year 2000 itself. So that is again a part of the, though that is part of the economic offences, still we have got a specialized cybercrime investigation cell with the CBI. So this is basically main function, and again the function CBI is again divided in two parts. One is the central units, another is the state units. Central units, they have got the all India jurisdiction. We have got the central units of the anti-corruption. We have got the central units of the special crimes. We have got the central units of economic offences. And BSFB is basically, there is a central unit, and we have got the regional units also in the major metropolitan cities. So all India jurisdiction, central units, they have got the all India jurisdiction. Even if they are sitting in Delhi, they can investigate a case of the Chennai, they can investigate a case of Manipur, everywhere. Whereas the local units, they usually are restricted to their investigation within that particular territorial area which has been assigned to them. But it is not a restriction. Sometimes what happens that some people will go to the court and say that, sir, he is from the Bhopal branch and his jurisdiction was only of these 51 districts of Madhya Pradesh, but they have done a case in Nagpur. This is illegal. No, because there is no jurisdiction of any of the branch. Every jurisdiction of the CBI lies with the director CBI. He has delegated his powers to his officers. He has delegated the jurisdiction, his powers, or gave them the territories. Still, director CBI can alter and can provide the orders to anybody, any of the officer, that yes, you do investigate this case also. CBI is not, there are not the, you can say that 37 or 50 or 60 or 70 thanas. CBI is only one thana. Every district in the police, every district has got a thanas, and all the thanas are notified. All the thanas are notified. In CBI, there is no such notification. Why? Because that DSP Act, what it says that an officer of the CBI will, the DSP will enjoy the same powers as that of the SHO of that area in which they are investigating that particular case, for that particular case. Whatsoever case I am investigating. So, for investigation of that particular case, I assume all the powers, all the privileges of the police officer of that particular area. तो उसके अंदर से मैं उनका जाके इसके अंदर से I can use their lockups, I can request them for any of this manpower, and I can do my own investigation, I can conduct the searches, I can do anything. For that I don't require any separate notification. तो इसलिए CBI का कभी आपको किसी भी स्टेट का हमारा इंटरनल नोटिफिकेशंस होते हैं कि हाँ now this new branch has been created or this jurisdiction, this branch has been changed, but there is, you cannot find any notification with respect to this particular lockup or with respect to that this branch as a thana of the CBI. CBI is only one thana which works under DSP Act. This is the main criteria of the CBI. Other thing with the CBI, which in your career in future, whenever you will get a chance to work in your vigilances, you will find that the CBI is one of the best organization with respect to the record maintenance. बहुत बढ़िया record maintenance है. इवन जो आज की डेट में जब हमने ज्वाइन किया था उस समय तो इट वॉज मच मोर बेटर बिकॉज कंप्यूटराइजेशन वॉज नॉट देयर, everything was manual, and from the new note sheet of portion of the any of the file, you can come to know about the whole of the case. Correspondence, everything was, every paragraph, every page number, everything was beautifully numbered. जैसे हम जाएंगे आपको भी, if you had gone to any of the organizations somewhere, you will find that there are 4 pages which are kept on the file for the officer to peruse and sign. There the complete file comes. If there is a 4 volumes, the 4 volumes will come. And all the volumes, all the pages whatsoever being referred in note sheet, they were marked there. And other thing is that our systems of the investigation, they have been codified. We have got the crime manual, which we keep on updating from time to time, and everything is mentioned there that in what situation what you are going to do. Though it is not possible to follow each and every guideline, but if a person even follows 80% of those guidelines, they cannot miss anything. Another thing is that it is not the prerogative of an inspector or a DSP or a SP or a DIG to decide the case on his own. We have got a very good relationship with our prosecutors. At every level, if a case is investigated, day-to-day basis, if the SP or the DIG is supervising that case, and still they are consulting our law officers. This is the evidence which we have collected. How better it can be made, what more is required, whether this particular evidence is admissible in the court of law or not. Every month the cases, you can say that examined, evidence collected is analyzed. And when the case, the IO says that yes, I have completed my investigation, he prepares the report, and that report he gives everything. Accused, what is the evidence, what type of evidence is there, what are the lacunas in his investigation, what are the lacunas in the functioning of that department, what is the defense of the accused, and how this defense can be rebutted, what part of his defense can be accepted, which part cannot be accepted. Everything is written there. And then that particular report is examined by a law officer, wherein he examines that whether this particular evidence is sufficient for this particular offense which has been mentioned, and whether that particular evidence is admissible in the court of law or not. Nowadays, what is the biggest problem? Most of the time, what we are doing, that we are preparing a letter, taking the PDF and digitally sign it. And we can send it to somebody by email. Tomorrow when we go to the court, nowadays the problem is that the court is not ready to accept it. Because they say, where is the original? Original was there in the computer. It never came out, no paper printout ever came. Nobody made any pencils or the pen signatures on that. And this is the biggest problem which people are going to face in your investigation in the coming days. Earlier, what used to happen that if an officer is writing a letter, he used to write a letter and the office copy was kept in the file. He was signing on 2 copies. One kept on the record, another was sent to the department. Now we prepare 1 copy, get a photocopy and keep in your own file. If that original is lost, where is the original? We have got only photocopies available, and those photocopies, they are not primary evidences. So you have to cater for those types of things also in your coming careers, in all your investigation, even if it will be a simple fraud case. Maybe these problems you are going to face. So when you are planning your investigations, what we do that whenever we get a case, first thing which the IO has to do is to prepare a plan of action, that how he is going to investigate this particular case. And then every month, if there is some more input, something like that, they keep on revising their plan of action. With that, the case is in a particular direction. If I got 5 scenarios, he will mention these are the 5 scenarios, how to investigate this scenario, how to investigate this scenario, and then you can say that yes, this is not, the offense has not happened in this way, offense has not happened in this way, then you concentrate on a particular thing. So, planning of any of the investigation is very important. जो हम जल्दबाजी के अंदर से at the local thana level, many of us miss on that part. Why we are getting the investigations? Today, I got a case for the investigation after 18 years of the murder. 18 मर्डर के 18 साल के बाद इसमें कन्विक्ट को सजा भी हो चुकी थी, वो 7 साल 8 साल जेल में रह भी चुका था, हाई कोर्ट ने उसको वहाँ पर से एक्विटल किया, और 18 साल के बाद मर्डर केस के अंदर इन्वेस्टिगेशन करना, हाउ डिफिकल्ट इट इज़. जो टेक्नोलॉजी उन्होंने उस समय यूज़ किया था डीएनए के लिए, वो सारे इक्विपमेंट्स आज की डेट में अवेलेबल ही नहीं है. उस डाटा को कैसे रीड करोगे? यू हैव टू सर्च फॉर दैट कंट्री, दैट पर्टिकुलर कंपनी ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. उसका कोई आदमी बचा हुआ जिसको उस टेक्नोलॉजी की जानकारी थी, उसको पकड़ के लेके आओ. एंड वी हैव गॉट द केस जहाँ पर पुलिस ऑफिसर फेल टू टेक द फोटोग्राफ्स ऑफ द सीन ऑफ मर्डर, सीन ऑफ क्राइम के फोटोग्राफ्स ही नहीं लिए. Don't allow your officers कि if there is a murder scene of murder, tell him at least to take 50 to 100 photographs. In that case, the Manwa Bhan Tekri murder case, there are only 4 photographs. तो वहाँ पर क्या है? It becomes difficult. What you are doing? You are saving the actual culprits. कि आपका intention है या नहीं है. And our duty is not to save anybody. Our duty is to stand with the truth. Sometimes that truth may hurt you. But if you are able to stand with that truth, nobody is going to harm you. बड़े बड़े हैं इनकम टैक्स के अंदर से पूछिए, सर से बताएंगे आपको दैट व्हेन दे आर डूइंग देयर इन्वेस्टिगेशन, व्हेन दे आर डूइंग दिस, दे आर फेसिंग विद द मल्टी मिलियनियर्स ऑफ इंडिया who have got the best of the resources, best of the legal or the, you can say, the consultants available to them. Still they face them because they are working with a zeal to work for the country and work for the fellow nations. और सच्चाई के साथ खड़े होने में आपको ना कोई कोर्ट से प्रॉब्लम आने वाला है, ना ही अपने सीनियर ऑफिसर से प्रॉब्लम आने वाला है. व्हाट्स ओवर प्रॉब्लम, दे विल बी शॉर्ट लिव्ड. देयर ड्यूरेशन इज वेरी शॉर्ट लिव्ड. बट एज सर सेड, द रेपुटेशन विच यू आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट विद फॉर योर सेल्फ, image you are going to create for yourself, that will pay you. एक मूवी है ना फ्रीकी अली, how many of you have seen it? So what is lesson there? You can earn the money. You can earn the money in any manner, which may be legal or which may be illegal. But reputation is the thing which stays till end and which inspires other from you. You become inspiration for others if you have earned something from your own talent. That is the basic example. तो अपने talent से अपने एक reputation हमें कमाना है. Here nowadays, आप newspapers के अंदर से might have heard that CBI ने ये गलत कर दिया, CBI ने वो गलत कर दिया, CBI ने वो गलत कर दिया. Still everybody will file a petition. The people who say that CBI is wrong, CBI was the case parrot, CBI was like this, CBI was like that. Next day they are also again making a demand that this case shall be investigated by CBI. So one or two small instances cannot destroy the image of the organization, because that organization is built on the principles of our seniors, not seniors from today's, from the 60s. Whatsoever they have written, whatsoever the things they have, you can say that rules and regulations they made, still we are working on those rules and regulations, meticulously prepared by the officers from the various states who came together, who are the part of this organization, and they share the best of their, you can say this, the code of their conduct, or you can say that the best of their, sir, क्या बोलेंगे इसको? हर एक or every organization has got something good. Yeah, best of their practices, yes. So everybody shares the best practices within their state, and those best of those practices are codified at one place. So if we are going to find that you say yes, this thing happens in our state, so other one says that this thing happens in our state. So all those best practices are there. इसीलिए आपके यहाँ पर भी states के अंदर भी there are police manuals are there. Every type of manuals are there. Read those manuals, and you will, if you are able to remember even 60% of that, much of your life performance becomes easy and better. And tomorrow when you will become the IPS, again you will get a chance to come to the CBI. You can aspire to come to the CBI. उसी के लिए सबको ने कहा है कि आप जितनी मेहनत अभी करोगे, because in the CBI again it is not easy to come on deputation of CBI for an IPS officer. IPS officer apply करते रह जाते हैं, reject हो जाते हैं. Even if there is one single allegation of corruption which erupts, he is straightforwardly rejected. जो आजकल just every in the this is you are in the state government. When you go to the center, you will find that in center A for all the senior positions, there is a 360 verification of each and every person. कोई चाहे जज बन रहा हो, चाहे कोई सेक्रेटरी बन रहा हो, कोई चीफ सेक्रेटरी बन रहा हो, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी बन रहा हो, कुछ भी बन रहा हो, everybody goes through the 360. And 360 doesn't mean that they are revolving around you only. Your complete family is checked. Complete background is checked. Your conduct is checked. What people say about you, what your subordinates say about you, what your seniors say about you. So, in that case, your annual performance or you can say the career performance is not written by your seniors, but by your juniors also, by the public also. What is there written about you on the social media? What is there written about you in the media? Everything goes into that. And then there are a group of retired officers, old veterans who goes through all those records and they say that whether this officer is fit for next promotion or for any deputation or not. You have to prepare for that future. हमारे में तो अभी स्टार्ट हुआ होगा उस साल में, आप में तो डे 1 से स्टार्टेड है वो. So, be a good officers. I wish you all very best in your careers. I wish you all that your name should shine in the districts where you work. And another thing is that in any of the district, because you will be in the uniform, everybody will notice you. Administrative officers, they are in the plain uniforms, plain dress like me. They cannot be noticed. आपका एक एक अच्छा काम, एक एक बुरा काम पब्लिक की नज़र में आता है. बाढ़ में भी पुलिस वाले का नाम ज़्यादा होता है, म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन वाले का नाम नहीं होता. जब बाढ़ आती है, आग लगती है, दिस हु इज दैट द फ्रंट लाइन? You and your forces will be at the front of everything. You can earn name for yourself, you can destroy the name of your organization. This is all up to you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, before I invite today's chief guest, Sri Rajiv Vasne, IRS Principal Commissioner Income Tax, I would like to give a brief introduction of sir. Sri Rajiv Vasne, Principal Commissioner Income Tax, hails from Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh, is an officer of 1988 batch Indian Revenue Services. He has done BE Electrical in 1985 and a gold medalist from Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology, Bhopal. He has also done Advanced Diploma in Business Administration from IGNOU 1994 and Advanced Management Certificate from University of Maryland, USA and IIM Bangalore in 2013. Before joining the Indian Revenue Services in the year 1988, he has worked in L&T Mumbai and Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Bhopal. After joining IRS, he has undergone 1.5 years of induction training at National Academy of Direct Taxes, Nagpur. After that, he has worked in Bhopal, Indore, Jaipur, Bilaspur, Raipur, Kurnool and Ahmedabad in various wings of income tax departments such as assessment, investigation wing, administration, departments representative in IT/AT, training and computer operations. Now, I would request Sri Rajiv Vasne, IRS Principal Commissioner Income Tax, to deliver his talk.
Good morning. Pawan Srivastava ji, Director CAPT, Ramneesh Gir ji, Joint Director CBI, Anuj Kumar ji, Moolchand ji, Deputy SPs of various states. First of all, I must thank Pawan Srivastava ji for giving me this opportunity to address the young officers of state. You are the future of India. We are almost at the end of our career, and we are happy to state that we are leaving an India which is shining, a progressive India, shining India, economically powerful India, but it requires a lot of effort from all the officers of the state, central government, so that whatever we are achieving, we are able not only to maintain, but improve on that. No country has progressed economically without there being a proper law and order situation. Any contract is only enforceable when there is proper law and order, and that thing is now in your hand. You all must be very happy that not only we Indians who are saying that it is India decade, lot of very senior economists, senior statesmen of other countries are saying, and on the basis of data, it's not just a saying, that it is going to be an India decade. You can search the internet for Rindam Desai. He is a Burma bull. He believes in Indian economic growth. How he has described that why it is going to be India's decade. The main 2 points which are in India's economy favor are that the Indian digital stack in the form of Aadhaar has certainly transformed things economically and socially. And the other very important progress which India has made is UPI, Unified Payment Interface. Now these two things have resulted in not only India growing at a very good actual GDP rate of 7%, which transforms into nominal GDP of almost 12%. But the benefit of this GDP growth filtering down to the downtrodden. If the growth goes to the lower strata, then only a country can progress. It is true, richers are getting richer, but it should be there that part of that Indian growth trickles down to the lower strata. Maintaining law and order, which will be in your hand, you will be able to help the entrepreneurs do their best and help the country in its GDP growth. Now coming to the question of income tax. Income tax is basically a progressive taxation. There are mainly two types of taxes, direct taxes and indirect taxes. Income tax is a part of direct tax. GST, that is goods and services tax, is indirect tax. Custom is indirect tax. Why I'm saying income tax is progressive? Because those who can afford to pay higher tax pay higher tax. You all must be following the income tax budget, the finance budget, and in this finance budget, in the new tax regime, 7 lakh of income is now tax exempt. The entire lower strata, the lower middle class, lower class, is now tax exempt. It is only the person who can afford to pay tax is now paying tax. This progressive taxation helps in distribution of wealth. Those who are paying taxes are basically helping in the building of infrastructure, the road development, the port development, the airports development which you are seeing is all because of, major part is because of income tax being collected by Union of India. Coming to the purpose of income tax, earlier it only used to be an enforcement agency. Now the role of income tax has been divided into two. There is an enforcement part and there is a service provider part. With very fast digitization, the service part is now such that human interface between, physical interface between a assessee and an officer is now almost zero. In fact, you should be happy to know that when we did 100% e-filing of income tax return, the same was not there even in United States of America. We were the first country to start compulsory e-filing of return. We are the first country who have started faceless assessment. What does this mean? Is that when you file income tax return, only a small percentage of that is taken for scrutiny. That scrutiny is done by a team of officers whose identity is not revealed to the assessee. Assessee gets the notices through e-filing portal, email, etc. Assessee has to submit his reply and documents for verification. And on the basis of that, the team sitting in some remote place will do the assessment. This is the faceless assessment scheme. There is a jurisdictional assessing officer part also for doing your day-to-day needs of, for example, you want to rectify something which has been done in CPC, Central Processing Center, Bangalore. Let me correct Pawan Srivastava. He says that you get refund in 7 days. It is not correct. 70% of the persons who have filed income tax return got their refund on the same day. Same day. As soon as you have verified your return, your income tax got processed and refund was sent to the refund banker. That electronic crediting of refund takes 2 or 3 days. That is the normal routine. but the processing part, the income tax part, gets done on the submission of Aadhaar verification. So 70% of the people got their refund instantly. So this is all because of high level of digitization which the income tax department has achieved. Now, there may be some error in this computation, which we call intimation. 143(1)(a) is the section. It is called intimation under section 143(1)(a). For that, you need to approach your jurisdictional assessing officer. For that, there are officers who you can approach by email, by physically visiting the office, submitting it in a Seva Kendra. So there are officers who will resolve your grievance of tax refund, demand, various submission of clearance certificates, etc. For that, jurisdictional officers are also there. Now, the second part of department is doing enforcement actions. It is being headed by Director General of Income Tax Investigation at state level. Under him will be the principal directors of income tax and various units of investigations. Basically, investigation wing is doing search and seizure under section 132, which in layman's term you say raid. You must have heard, and there are so few movies also, that raid hui, income tax ki raid hui, chhapa pada. That is search and seizure operation under section 132 of Income Tax Act. There is one provision wherein we can requisition cash, gold, silver, etc., any valuable, books of accounts also, from any other officer who has done the seizure. That requisition is done under section 132A. Basically, it says that the officer in possession of that cash, valuable, etc., will not be able to hand it over back to the person from which it has been seized. Department has placed its lien over it. If there is some proceeding in, for example, police may be doing going on election duty, wherein they seize a lot of cash during election time. Now they send this information to the income tax department, and we requisition under section 132A in the form of a search warrant, which is given to the person who is in the possession of that cash. Now, police department will do its own investigation, whatever action they want to take, but they just cannot hand it over to the person from which it has been seized. They will have to give it back and give it to the income tax department after finishing their part of investigation. So that is one section which you may encounter again and again. There are hawala operators on which you may take action. You may find a lot of cash there. You must be knowing who are hawala operators. Basically, they move cash from one place to another. It's basically unrecorded cash in the books of accounts. You may be taking action against hawala operators and may be finding cash there. So then at that time you can send the information to department, and department may consider it a fit case for sending your requisition under section 132A. A minor enforcement action is also done by jurisdictional officers, that is called survey operation. it is under section 133A. Basically, survey is being done only on business establishment. It is not done on houses, residential places, and it is only done from sunrise to sunset. If it is started in this period, it can continue beyond this period, but it needs to start from sunrise to sunset. Only on business establishment. It may be so that somebody has written his residential address as business premises in his return of income. Then the officer is entitled to even do survey of that residential premises if the person himself has mentioned that as a business premises. Now, at the time of search, we find certain documents. Now, these documents are not straightforward. They will have some entries. Now, our officers and staff and inspectors at the time of search, they try to correlate these coded entries with some actual transaction. For example, somewhere it may be written just 100. But on same date, if there is an entry in books of accounts of 1 lakh, then it appears that code 100 represents three extra zeros, and it is actually 1 lakh. You may have some code word from, for example, 1 kg. 1 kg may be 1 lakh. All these Hawala operators use various code words. They don't write just 000s. Peti, kg, all these are code words, and they are changing on a very frequent basis. So you will have to keep abreast of these code words whenever you are enforcing or doing action against these Hawala operators or movement of cash. So whatever document is there, we need to prove that it is not a dumb document. It has some value. The transactions mentioned in that document have some financial value, and it represents income escaping assessment. So that part usually starts with the integration of the assessee at the time of search or survey, and we record statement. The difference between statement recorded by income tax authorities and police authority is that your statement will not be admissible in court of law unless it is taken before a magistrate. But our statement, it is taken on oath and it is admissible in income tax proceedings as well as a court of law. We have a specific section 131 for issuing summons, and we record statement in that also. So statement recorded in search 132 by issuing summon under section 131 or during survey under 133A. All these statements are admissible and can be used against assessee. There is no requirement of taking these statements before magistrate. In fact, the difference between our search and your search is that you take search warrant from a magistrate. Our director of income tax is authorized to issue search warrant, and we don't have to go to any court or magistrate to get the search warrant. So that is also one big difference between because your search, because it has undergone certain, it has gone to some court and before some magistrate, the secrecy of that is to some extent compromised. But our search, because it is only, the warrant is issued internally, there is a great element of secrecy in our searches. Nowadays, assessees are using various digital means to store data or to transmit data. They are storing in clouds. It may not be on the local server or local PC. Cloud access. Google Drive is the basic example of cloud. Many of you must be using Google Drive for storing your valuable information. There are other cloud services also, paid as well as free. Transmission through WhatsApp, Telegram, all these things need to be intercepted, examined at the time of search. Another important thing about digital data is that you need to learn about hash value. Whenever a digital data is changed, its hash value changes. If there is a Word document, even if you press space bar, its hash value will change. So hash value will give you an indication that data has changed and it is not the original data. So you need to keep track of the hash value. Then before search and after search, we obtain CDR, that is call data record from service providers, telecom companies. This helps us in finding out who are the potential persons who need to be covered together in that search operation. And subsequent to search, if we are finding out CDR, then we will be able to know that who are the persons who are directly talking at what frequency with our assessee, so that we can cover that person and obtain the additional information related to assessee from that person. In construction activity, we are taking help of Google time-lapse facilities. For example, a person may claim that his construction is, let us say, more than 10 years old. Because in Income Tax Act, we can reopen only 10 years assessments. So you will say that it is a 10-year-old thing, so you cannot do anything to it. I have constructed it that time. But you can get a Google time-lapse data from Google, and you will be able to prove to this person that construction was not there 10 years before. It has been done in, let us say, in last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So this time-lapse data can be used against the assessee. In some places, we are also using drone technology to capture images. Another important thing is that we find a lot of data in Excel. But Excel sheets have a lot of hidden data also. Some column may be hidden, some row may be hidden, which may have a data of some tax evaded income or something. So our officers are conversant how to unhide the data and to look at the true picture emerging out of Excel. Lot of data is there in mobile also. Nowadays, mobile are much more powerful than 16 GB of memory 256 GB of data. They are much powerful than even PCs. We need to be very careful what is there in the mobile. Since this mobile remains with the person, he may have some hidden partitions in the mobile in which the data is there. You need to unearth it. In searches, certain transactions are made out to be real. For example, the entry providers are there. What these entry providers do is, there are name lender companies. Company A will lend to B, B will lend to C, C will lend to D, and D to E. So in the books of accounts of company E, money has come from company D, but it is all digital. But you need to delayer that transaction. If you will be able to reach the company A from which the actual digital transaction started, you will be able to establish that there is a cash deposit in the bank account of that company A, and after that cash deposit, the digital transaction trail is made. So this delayering of data is very important to establish that the last transaction, which is being made only to show it to be genuine to the income tax department, is not actually the actual transaction. It is a sham transaction because of the delayering which we have done. Use of AI. I don't know how many of you are following the recent search. 2,000 rupees have been withdrawn. It is not denotified, it is just withdrawn. Recently, there is a search in which few jewelers have been covered, as there was a data of huge deposit of 2,000 notes in the bank account of these jewelers. This data was analyzed using artificial intelligence, and a search was done. Huge cash deposit, cash seizure has been made in this case, and slowly and steadily, department is going to use AI again and again to crack the tax evasion. This was so far as the enforcement part of the department is concerned. But you are all young officers, and I somehow, investing is my hobby, and I never leave an opportunity to guide or to say to young officers that they need to start investing at this young age. If you don't want to directly go to stock market, then it is all right. You can go to the mutual funds. Start a SIP, systematic investment plan. After 30, 35 years, 25 years, you will be saying thank you to me, because this money will be enough for your education of your children in a foreign country, for your house, for so many things. Start an SIP today, systematic investment plan. Now, you, by investing in mutual funds, are actually helping the country in doing economic progress. Whatever money you give to the companies is ultimately invested in the economy, and economy grows. If company grows, your money will grow in that company. You will reach benefit of it. Don't say that you don't have any surplus at this time. Start with 500, start with 1,000, whatever you can afford. You don't need a lot of research to invest in mutual fund. There is a site, Value Research. You can just look at best funds being 5-star rating funds in that Value Research site. It's a free site. So since this was an opportunity given by Pawan Srivastav ji to address you, I thought that let me, even 10% of you gets converted and start SIP, I will think that my mission is getting accomplished of forcing people to invest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request Director Sir to present a memento to Shri Rajiv Vashne, IRS Principal Commissioner Income Tax. And to Shri Ramneesh Gir, Joint Director, Central Bureau of Investigation. Thank you, sir. Now I would request everyone to please rise in the honor of National Anthem. Thank you, sir. Now, officers, you are requested to please join